Hi, welcome to the next video from Information First. This video is good. What? You need me to sign that right now? Okay, 1 second. Excuse me for a moment. Here you go. Wouldn't you like to be able to do that electronically? Well, in Content Manager 9.4 and its integration with DocuSign, you can. This video is going to take you through how to set up and show you what the effects of the DocuSign document authorization steps do for you. Sorry, I'm very excited about this. It took me a while to get it working. So let's jump in there and see what this is all about. The first thing I want to show you is from the end user's perspective. So what I'm going to do, because there is some time delays, it takes a little bit of time to go off the DocuSign, takes a little time to come back. What we'll do is we'll kick off a new record now. Then I'll take you over to the administrator side of the program. We'll show you how the setup was configured. And then from there, we'll come back and we'll just see how the whole process works. All right, so let's get started. First thing I have here is a Word document from an end user's perspective called DocuSign Process. So I'm going to just take this file and drag and drop it into Content Manager. And I'm going to select a specific record type that I created called DocuSign. Click OK. And there's really no other metadata required on this particular record. It's kind of easy to do, and we have record 29 has been created. If I come in here and I look at it, I can preview the document, and it just says this document will be edited and trimmed. We need the document signed, etc. Now, as the end user, I'm going to simply right-click on this record, go to the document review, and start the authorization. It's going to come up in here. I'll give a date I need it authorized by, the 16th of March. Click OK. And I'm done. So at this particular point in time, it's going to go off and it's going to notify the administrator or whoever the authorizer is. So with that, let's jump on over to the administrator side and take a look at what's been set up, configured, and what they're going to receive. That ding tells me I just got an email from DocuSign telling me I have to go and approve something. So let me just switch users. Now, as I'm switching users, I may just pause the video and jump on as the administrator. But if I can do it all in this video and keep it entertaining, then I will do that as well. Administrator, my secret password, and we'll log on. Okay, so a couple of things happened. The ding, the first thing we heard was the ding in the background. So let me open up my email here, and I will show you that I get an email from DocuSign, and it's telling me that I have something to approve. So it says, Info First sent you a document to review. Click on this box to review the document. I will come back to that in a moment. So let's go back into our VM and see what was set up to make all this possible. First off, from the administrative side or from the technical side of the program, under the particular data set in question, I would go into the event processing and the rendering selection and click the DocuSign. So here you can see that we've given the DocuSign server details. Now I am using the demonstration or the developer's access to DocuSign. Of course, if your organization has DocuSign, you'd put in the proper production DocuSign server. I have my user ID, I have my password, and I have my API key. So all of this is obtained from DocuSign in your developer's portal in this case, or I'm sure in your normal DocuSign account. You put in this particular information, save the record, or save the Enterprise Studio configuration, and of course, we'll want to deploy it to all of our workgroup servers. The next step we need to do is create a record type that's going to support the authorization process. So what I did for that was I went into my administration, into my manage record types. Let me move this over a millimeter or a quarter of an inch. They're not the same measurement, but different sizes. And I created a DocuSign record type. So let's just focus in on the properties of this DocuSign record type that I'm focused on. Did I say that twice? Sorry. The most important thing we want to do here is the document review tab. So in this particular example, I skipped the whole review process, and what I simply went to is that the document should be authorized. So putting on this check mark, then selecting the user to do the authorization. In this case, it's the administrative account. And then I used through the drop down, I selected the DocuSign service. So that means now that these records, when they seek approval, when they seek authorization, will be sent to this particular individual for approval. So far, so good. On the other side, at the beginning of the video, we saw the user create the record and request the authorization. So let's now go back to that email that I had opened. Here it is here. I'm going to click on Review Document. It's opening up DocuSign, and this is what I see when I arrive at the DocuSign video. I'm going to continue. I have no questions, so I'm just going to say okay. But here is where I would put on the various signatures. So what I'm going to do here is click a signature, and I'll just approve it as information first. Maybe I'll put a date signed stamp here as well, and maybe I might put my initials up here. So I'm just mocking up this particular record for the end user, and then I'm going to click Finish. There is this little sign in return. You can divert this to somebody else. I panicked the first time I did the demo here, and I put it all in, but I'm just going to click No Thanks. You can get away with that as well. This has been done. That was easy. That's the demo confirmation. I'm going to minimize this, and in about less than 30 seconds, we should get another email coming in. There we go. That now tells me that the authorization has been done. If I click on here, we can see that it has been completed. So from my perspective as the administrator, I have approved that record. I was notified through DocuSign, and it's been done. 2 confirmations have come in. And now it's just a question of waiting. So a couple things. When I say waiting, let me just show you something of interest, and then I will pause the video and resume it once I get the full approval. What I'm showing you in the rendering section, I skipped over this the first time. There is a polling interval but the default is 1800 seconds or 30 minutes. I shortened it to 10 minutes. So I'm going to, there is some cautions. You don't want to bombard the DocuSign servers. You could violate some sort of terms, or at least get your account locked out until you talk to them, something to that effect. Point is, in a real corporate world, I'm sure 30 minutes is enough time. From a demoing training environment, I shortened it, but I'm not sending that many through. So I will pause this video for probably about 10 minutes, and I'll come back when we see the result of that document being authorized. Hang tight. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. I came back a little sooner than I had thought. I think there's a little bit more information I can share with you while we're waiting for the process to happen. So I'm going to just acknowledge the DocuSign settings and click OK. I wanted to show you the event processing. So on the data set, event processing and monitor, you can see that we have this one signed copy rendering event, which is queued up. So again, it is waiting for that interval to pass, which is why I'm pausing the video until it gets completed, but I just wanted to show you that it does show up in the event processing. The last thing I want to show you is from the administration's perspective. If I go into the monitor render queue, I can see everything that's been done. Here is the one that we just created. So we see it's record number 9, signed copy, very high. It was requested by Pat end user, server name, and we're just right now, let me open this up a little bit for you. We are waiting on the response from DocuSign. So that's basically what we're waiting for right now. I just want to wait for that to come back. You can also click your errors. I don't have any errors, and any current activity around document rendering. So you can see I have the 2 on here. So the 2 requests have been submitted. What do we got? Looks like record. Let me open up the record numbers. I really like this. They've really improved this whole monitoring. There's record number 8. There's record number 9. You can see I was doing some test accounts earlier. Information first and Pat end user. And you can actually, is it this one? No, it's on the queue. You can actually right click and show records. So you can actually jump from the queue into the show record here and see what's been happening. So I don't have a rendition yet. Let me just open this up. So I don't have that rendition. I've only got the thumbnail rendition. What I'm waiting for is to have that signed rendition in the record. So now let me close everything off. And what I'll end up doing is I'll switch back to the administrator account, or to the end user account, and I'll resume the video from that screen. Thank you. Okay, we're back. I've waited offline. I've waited the 10 or 15 minutes in order to ensure that the processing was complete. So and I've also returned to the end user's desktop. So let's open up Content Manager as end user. And we get the little did you know message. Going to click close. I'm just going to go full screen here so we can get all the effect. And what I want to do is do a date search for items registered today. So now you can see I've done some test documents as well. And the one I did in this particular video was called DocuSign Process. So I click on that. I have the metadata. Now what I might want to do, if this is a particular record type, is I can customize my view pane, and I can bring in, and this is taking advantage of the new CM9.4 search is I can look for anything to do with authorization. So I can double click on all these authorization options, click OK, and they will appear. Let me maximize this a little bit. Authorization is DocuService, the due date, authorization comments, is the authorization complete, does it need authorization, etc. So we can get all of that different information from the content manager. If I click on the review tab, remember this is the one that I put into the system. This document will be edited and trimmed. We need this signed. That was the original. I then authorize it as the administrator. Let's go to the rendition tab, and sure enough, what we have here is there is the document that I signed through DocuSign. I can see the DocuSign envelope. I can see the signature that I put in. There's the stamp, or sorry, the initials that I put in up top here, and down here is the stamp and the date. So that record has now been authorized, which is fantastic. If I click on here, document review, I can now finalize the document. I could view the comments. I can restart the process. Let me just finalize it, for example. I love these options here. Purge old revisions, promote the signed rendition of the copy, and you can keep the original as a rendition if you want. So depending on the options that you want, you can make your different settings accordingly before you finalize it. In this case, I might purge old revisions, click OK, and now I finalize the record. And that's all there really is to the DocuSign. So it's fantastic. You can see it goes out, gets the approval, comes back, and then the document is there. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to be alerted of our future video releases. Like the video if you can, so it raises in popularity. And by all means, post any questions, comments, or concerns in the comments. Sorry, I said that backwards. Please post anything you'd like to see done in a video in the comments. I do read the comments, and I'll try to make a video that pertains to your ask. I really appreciate that. As well, you're going to see a playlist to all of our Content Manager videos and a link to our most recent video upload. Thanks for watching.